Hello, welcome to a new episode of Bergers 5. I'm Alfred Berger, the Managing Director of Röhnfried. I'm a biologist and a pigeon fancier since 1981. I welcome Frederick Wolf, our product manager, who will assist us with the questions that you have sent to us. Hello, Frederick.
Hello, Alfred. Thanks for introducing me and a friendly hello to our fans. Wonderful to be able to create another episode of Bergers 5, and I'm really looking forward to our questions today.
Yeah, Frederick, how are you?
I'm fine as always. Thank you very much for asking. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine too, and I'm curious which questions we get this week.
Okay, then let's start with question number 1.
So,
the first question is about two top products of us. Can I mix Carni-Speed with Avidress Plus?
yes, of course, you can use it and mix it together in the drinking water. So our Carni-Speed is a product who is based on carnitine, L-carnitine, which is needed to feed it minimum 5 days per week. The reason is we have to bring the carnitine level on a higher level in the muscles. And for this, we need to add it more often, so minimum 5 days per week. And our product Avidress Plus is recommended to use it also daily, and especially also minimum 5 days while between the races in the racing season. So it is a must to use it together, and it is totally no problem. Yeah, you can mix it. The carnitine is stable in the lower pH. It is a big advantage if you use it together, because the bacterials which can develop in the water, or let's say different, when you don't use Avidress and you have your drinking water in the drinking pot, and when you change the drinking pot, after 8 hours, 10 hours, or the next day, you have always some slim on the drinking pot, and if you use, and these are bacterials, it is like many bacterials which develop in the water, and if you use Avidress, there is no slim, so the bacterials have no chance to develop, and the bacterials in the normal drinking water without Avidress, they will eat the carnitine, because carnitine is like a nutrition for bacterials, and that is it is okay because the quantity we feed is high, but to do it together with Avidress, it is more stable and more effective, at least for the pigeons. Okay. So of course you can use it together.
Let's come to the second question. What do you recommend to breed the best pigeons? So what supplements do you recommend?
Yeah, first, I would like to say you need high quality pigeons, but the best quality of your breeders is nothing if the youngsters cannot develop well, or if the eggs will be not fertilized, or whatever so that means the philosophy I'm following by myself is to bring the stock birds, or the breeding birds, who bring the next generation, and next generation is needed for the next success I will have. So the pigeons, before I pair my pigeons, I try to bring them in a very, very good condition. And for this, the basis of a very good condition is a good healthiness. So that means for my breeders, the preparation period, and I use our product, which we talk for a minute. I used our Avidress, because Avidress is very helpful to bring the pigeons in a better healthiness. So that is the first. Then what we can do is to, especially when we start breeding very early in the year, so that means winter breeding, when we have short days in the winter period. So it is needed to stimulate the fertilization of the pigeons. So the sperms must be active and produced by the cocks. And for this, we can use vitamin E, because we know with a high content of vitamin E intake, the fertilization and the the activity of the sperms will be much, much better than without. Because of this, I use our product Taubenfit E50. It is a vitamin E based product. And the last 2 or 3 years, I used, instead of the Taubenfit E50, our product, which we have new, our product OptiBreed. It is a liquid product which we have to feed through the mixtures, through the feed. And it is, besides, the main content is also vitamin E, but there are also some amino acids, the proteins, and so on. So it's a mixed product which support especially the pigeons while we prepare them for the pairing. And before the youngsters hatch, I also start using the OptiBreed product. And in this period, when the youngsters are hatched and before we have to ring them, I use a lot of amino acids. So our product Beta-Amine Forte, it's a liquid product. It's very, very easy. I put it in the drinking water. And in this time, we have some results or some experience when the youngsters became these high concentrated amino acids through the drinking water. The immunity of the youngsters will develop also much better than without. So at least I want to say the youngsters, after, first when the parents have to build, the hens have to build the egg, it is needed a very good nutrition, and especially to produce a crop milk. And the first weeks in the nest, it's very important to bring all the nutritions into the pigeons through the feed, and to do it together with some supplements, that the youngsters develop very quick in the nest. Later, when we separate them and they eat and start training around the loft, we can give a diet, not like so optimized mixtures or feeding system. But in the nest, especially when they have to grow, in my opinion, we need an optimized feeding system that the youngsters will be able to develop very well.
So let me summarize. You use a Taubenfit E50, or instead of that, you use OptiBreed. How do you dry the OptiBreed over the corn? Which product do you use for this?
Yeah, I prepare the mixtures, the corns in the morning and in the evening fresh. So you have to dry it. And for this, I use our product Entrobac together with Immune Booster. I do it with these two products because I want to stimulate also the immunity of the youngsters from the beginning, and to create a very stable and resistant intestine flora also from the beginning. And what I see is, my experience shows that the droppings around the nest, they are perfect. The youngsters grow. I have only 12 hours to bring the ring on the pigeon's leg. I know you are always laughing when I told you that in the past I had 2 days. But now, one day, I must check the nest every day because they grow so fast. And from my point of view, when I read some reports from fanciers, so we often have reports which we get the information. There was 1 year extraordinary good youngsters. So many good youngsters in 1 year. But why not every year? The parents are the same. So the reason cannot be the genes, or the quality of the pigeons cannot be the reason. It must be something around, and everything what I can influence, I should influence on a good way. So to have every year a top breeding year, I would say we have to bring the breeders in a good condition. And I do everything what I think what is possible for the breeders. So 100% of the eggs are fertilized. Even we have old birds or old hens and cocks. Yeah. So at least sometimes it will be end, but not too early in the life of a cock. Yeah. And so on. So everybody must going perfect. And for this, we have the product OptiBreed, like the name. Yeah. It's a big difference if you use such kind of product. And if you do it together with Enterobug and Immune Booster, so you can breed 5, 6, 7 rounds. The parents will be looking very, very good. Yeah. So there is no always when I have visitors in my loft. Yeah, it's not so often, but when I have visitors, they are surprised from the condition of my breeders. Even they breed 5 or 6 rounds per year.
Okay, thank you very much for asking the second question. Let's come to the third one. When should I give proteins to the pigeons in the racing season?
Yeah, so this is a very good question, and what I'm very happy when I was at the university. I get also the opportunity to have to work in a at the university in a group who was very active in the metabolism field. Yeah, and 1 second. And what we learned from some scientific surgeries, there was a group here in the northern part of Germany, in Kiel, at the university in Kiel, who find out, they analyze some markers in the blood. So CPK, yeah, creatine phosphokinase, it's an enzyme, and you can find these markers when muscles are damaged and you cannot find these markers directly after the race. Yeah, that was also some surgeries I do by myself with my own racing pigeons in a doctorization at the university. And directly after the race, you cannot find these markers. That means that the muscles are not fired while the pigeons fly back home. But we can find these markers the next day, the day after the race, we can find these markers. That means the pigeons they do like an inspection. Yeah. So the muscles which work very hard on long on races, especially so long as the races are, so more hard the muscles must work. Yeah. So that's obvious. And after the muscles cooled down, first of all, the pigeons fill up the energy storage, the glycogens, carbohydrates. That the pigeons do at first. At the racing day, you need energy. Pigeons want to fill up the energy storage. And for this, you need mixtures, a feed with high content of carbohydrates. So directly glucose in the drinking water is also a good idea. And the day after the race, you need proteins, because when the muscles, the engine is cooled down, let's say, to talk a little bit in pictures, and then the pigeons start to regenerate the muscles. And regenerate the muscles means they need proteins, and not only single amino acids. Yeah, so they need a high quantity of proteins, and a protein which is high digestible and which is high usable, so that they can build up the muscles again. And this is needed 1 day after the race. It's not needed in the middle of the week. Yeah, in the old feeding systems, first depurative mixtures. Yeah, no high energy, high carbohydrate fibers. For most often people recommend many fibers, high fibers, the first days after the race. And that is wrong. Yeah, we need first high energy intake, and the next day we need a protein which is high digestible and high usable for the pigeons. And for this, we developed a product we called Key Plus Key protein 3000. It's a powder, or we have also a tablet we called Key Plus Key Gold Trages. It's a golden colored tablet. And here we have very high a very, very good quality of proteins. It's like a little bit like an anabol function. So to build and regenerate the muscles, you need the proteins one day after the race, not in the middle of the week and not at the end of the week. If you feed proteins, higher level of proteins at the end of the week, the pigeons will use it as an energy, and that is bad, yeah, because you have the Stickstoff. You cannot fire the proteins 100%. Yeah, so it's energetic, not the best to use proteins as an energy, and so we have to know and to learn. One day after the race, we need the proteins for the pigeon.
Thank you very much. And then now let's come to the fourth question. A lot of fans have asked us, what is the difference between Avitestin and Avidress?
Yeah, let's say Avitestin is Weiterentwicklung, development of the Avidress. So the difference is in Avitestin, we have the same acids, organic acids, like we have in Avidress, plus butter acid and middle chain fatty acids. And the middle chain fatty acids has a very effective function against bacteria in the intestine flora. The reason is that the middle chain fatty acids go through the stomach into the intestine, and the bacteria will use these middle chain fatty acids as nutrition. They will eat it, and then you have the acid in the bacteria, and that damages the bacteria. And there is a selection between the good and the bad bacteria. So the bad bacteria, they use it and eat it. The good bacteria don't do it. I don't know why, but if you measure the intestine flora and make quantifications, you can find this difference. And the butter acid is very good for the mucosa of the intestine flora. So if you have to regenerate the mucosa, and that is a daily system, it's ongoing regeneration, and especially if you have some inflammation or stress on the intestine, and then it is more needed to regenerate the mucosa, and the butter acid is nutrition for the cells of the mucosa. So that means the mucosa is more resistant because they can regenerate much better with the butter acid. And that is by young birds. If you have young birds, the Avitestin I use a lot by my young birds, and also while the racing season by my old birds. So every third week I switch from Avidress to Avitestin. So there is 1 week then Avitestin, and the next week again Avidress. Maybe sometimes I get the question, why not only Avitestin? Reason is that we know and get some experiences that the Avidress is more effective against the trichomonas in the crop. And the Avitestin, I don't know exactly why, but the results show with Avidress we have a much better function against the trichomonas. And so that's the reason I switch boost products while the racing season with my old birds.
Okay, let's come to the last question for today. This is the question about UsneGano. How do UsneGano affect the coccidia and the trichomonas?
Yeah, that is a good question. I don't know exactly how they do it, but we know that UsneGano do it. And the reason are cavagrol and thymol. These are the two active ingredients from the main ingredient, oregano. And we have also thymian inside. And I don't know, you have to know.
Cinnamon bark oil and thyme oil, yeah, right?
Yeah. So UsneGano is a mixture of different active or organic or oils, which are effective, very effective, and working against the coccidiosis. So it is a natural product. So we have no negative side effects, but it works very, very effective against this. And we have some scientific studies from our pigeon clinic in Germany who find out with cavagrol, thymol, coccidiosis is much lesser than without. And that is a reason we we recommend our product UsneGano, to bring the intestine flora to in a stable form also. So it is very effective against coccidiosis.
How often do you use UsneGano in the racing season?
2 to 3 days per week. Depends a little bit when droppings are well and races was very good. Maybe I use it only 1 or 2 days. If I'm not happy with the results, I would use it 3 to 4 days per week.
Okay, then thank you very much for asking the Bergers 5 questions, and thank you all listeners and viewers for our channel. Please send us a like, and I hope you are well. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.